In today's world, people often say that indifference means they are cold and don't care. But according to Stoic thought, it can be a great strength that helps us deal with bad people and negative situations. Alexander the Great, one of the great Stoics, said, "Choose not to be hurt, and you won't feel hurt. Don't feel hurt, and you haven't been hurt." This sentence not only says that ignoring bad behavior is not a sign of weakness, but it also says that it is a sign of inner power and complete self-control. Indifference doesn't mean ignoring everything and not doing anything. Instead, it lets us respond more intelligently and effectively. Instead of reacting on the spot, we can calmly assess the situation, make smart decisions, and keep our cool. According to a 2020 report from the American Psychological Association, people who can control their emotions tend to make better decisions and have fewer regrets later on. This means that indifference can be a powerful weapon to protect us from bad people because it helps us keep our minds steady. To protect our mental health and make better life choices, let's learn more about how to use the Stoic theory of indifference to live a more peaceful and meaningful life. Number 1. Better performance. Keeping up high work performance is not only hard, but it's also a constant battle. Unexpected events and bad people can throw us off like a storm tosses a small boat in the open sea. The power of indifference is a strong shield that protects us from bad effects and helps us achieve optimal work performance. Indifference not only keeps us steady in the waves, but it also brings peace of mind, letting us focus on what really matters in life. At work, we often have to deal with stressful and pressured situations. For example, when a coworker intentionally causes trouble or spreads rumors, it can make you feel insecure and anxious, which can affect your mental health and make you less productive at work. Anxiety makes it harder to focus, which makes you more likely to make mistakes and less creative when you need to solve hard problems. One big reason bad people can affect us is that we are too attached to the results of our work. We often have too high of hopes for the end result, and when others get in the way, we easily feel let down and disappointed. This emotional attachment makes us open to criticism and bad behavior from others. When we care too much about outcomes, we let outside factors affect our lives. This creates an imbalance because we waste too much time and energy on issues that aren't important. Instead of focusing on the work process and enjoying each step, we get caught in a whirlpool of anxiety and stress. To better understand the benefits of detached thinking, let's look at the difference between focusing on the process and the results. If we only care about the results, we might miss important steps and chances to get better. On the other hand, if we focus on the process, we pay attention to every little thing, enjoy every moment, and learn from our mistakes. This helps us build skills, be more productive, and make better products. One of the main ideas behind Stoic thought is detachment, or not caring about things we can't change. You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Understand this, and you will find power. When we know that we can only control our thoughts and actions, we are free to deal with any problems and strong enough to win. The benefits of detached thinking go beyond making us more productive at work. They also help us find inner peace. When we aren't affected by outside factors, we can keep our minds calm and focus on long-term goals. This not only helps us do our jobs better, but it also makes us happy and satisfied with life. Have you ever tried using detachment thinking in your work or personal life? If not, give it a try and see the difference it makes. Indifference is not a lack of responsibility or insensitivity. It's a smart way to protect yourself from bad things and focus on what really matters. If you practice indifference, you'll find yourself getting stronger and freer and making great progress in your work and personal life. According to Stoic philosophy, the power of indifference is not only a way to protect yourself from bad people, but also the key to getting better at your job and finding inner peace. Adopt this way of thinking and see how it changes your life. Improving performance is important in many areas, from personal efficiency to the efficiency of a company. A better performance means reaching goals more quickly, being more productive, and making the most of the resources you have. This lesson is mostly about useful tips that can be used to improve success anywhere, setting goals and making plans. Important, having clear, well-defined goals gives you direction and a way to measure your progress. Strategy. To set goals, use the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Make a clear plan for what you need to do to reach your goals. Say you want to increase sales by 15% in the next quarter by targeting new markets and improving customer service. Instead of just improve sales, describe your goal. Managing your time. Importance. Managing your time well helps you prioritize chores, lowers stress, and boosts productivity. Plan. Use apps that keep track of time, to-do lists, and schedules. Use the Eisenhower matrix to decide which jobs are most important and which are urgent. Example, set aside specific times to do important chores and stay away from multitasking, which can slow you down. Learning and getting better all the time. Importance. Getting new skills and information all the time is important for keeping up with success. Plan. Spend money on training, go to workshops, and ask for comments. Encourage an attitude of always learning and getting better. For example, a software developer goes to coding boot camps and online classes on a daily basis to learn about new programming languages and technologies. A good work-life balance. Keeping a mix between work and personal life is important because it keeps you from getting burned out and keeps your motivation high. Strategy. Set limits on your work hours, take breaks often, and do things outside of work. For example, putting in place rules that encourage a balance between work and life, like letting people set their own hours or work from home. How to communicate. Clear communication makes sure that everyone is on the same page, which cuts down on mistakes and makes it easier for people to work together. Strategy. Use a variety of platforms and tools for contact to make it easy and clear to share information. Get people to give and receive comments openly and actively. As an example, the team meets regularly, gets updates, and uses project management software to keep track of work and share news. By focusing on these key areas, people and groups can greatly improve their performance, which will lead to better results and more quickly reaching their goals. Number 2, freedom and authenticity. Have you ever thought about why we often feel like we have to follow the crowd and follow social norms in this society, where norms and conformities are so important? Behavior is a shared set of values. Most people feel safe following social norms and acting like others. They don't do this because they can't make their own decisions, but because it keeps them from being criticized and rejected by society. However, this safety comes at the cost of giving up personal freedom and being true to yourself. We often fear other people's opinions, afraid that we won't be accepted or included. This fear is like a dark shadow that haunts us, making us afraid to live true to ourselves and say what really matters to us. We worry that if we don't do what society expects, we will be alone and unloved. Stoic philosophy says that to live a meaningful life, we need to be unconcerned by social norms and other people's opinions. Be brave enough to follow your dreams and goals, even if it means going against what most people think is right. This doesn't mean being indifferent. It means sticking to your own beliefs and not letting other people control your life. To do this, you need to believe in yourself and your abilities. We can handle all the criticism and judgment that comes our way when we believe in ourselves. We can also stay on the path we have chosen. Imagining an artist who wants to be creative but is always worried about what other people will think. He might never try new things. But if he stops caring what other people think and believes in his own abilities, he will be able to create freely and honestly. This is where indifference comes in handy. It protects the artist from negativity and lets him truly fly with his own wings. Vincent van Gogh was a great example of this. He often faced rejection and ridicule from co-workers, family, and society. His works were ignored and not recognized. But instead of giving in to the pressure, he chose to ignore what other people thought and keep pursuing his artistic vision. This wasn't a sign of apathy. It was a way to protect his creative spirit from outside negativity. Van Gogh painted even though he was having a hard time with money and his mental health. He was so determined that he made hundreds of paintings that are now considered masterpieces of art. Even though he didn't see his success during his lifetime, his indifference and persistence helped him stay true to himself and his vision. This shows that indifference is not just a mental state, but an inner strength that helps us get through tough times and keep going after our goals no matter what. The power of disinterest in Stoic philosophy comes from the freedom and honesty we experience when we don't care about what other people think and when we don't let outside criticism and comments affect us. When you shake us, you free us from society's control. This lets us follow our dreams and be true to ourselves, even if that means going against social norms. Freedom and authenticity not only make us happy and satisfied, but they also help us reach our goals. Lots of accomplishments. Remember that indifference doesn't mean we don't care about other people. It means we choose which factors to accept. This way, we can focus on what's important and live a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher, once said that everything that exists is in a way the seed of what will be. If we can learn to ignore negative opinions and trust ourselves, we will find true freedom and the ability to live our lives as they really are. This not only makes us happy and satisfied, but it also helps us reach our goals. You have done amazing things by beating all of life's challenges and roadblocks. As you seek freedom and authenticity, remember that you don't have to live your life based on what other people expect of you. Ignoring other people's opinions not only keeps you safe from bad people, but it also helps you find and live true to your true self. Follow your dreams with confidence and live a meaningful, free, and authentic life. If you've ever felt pressured by other people's opinions or afraid of being rejected for being yourself, please share your story in the comments. Let's talk about the power of apathy and how it can keep us safe from bad people. Freedom and sincerity are central ideas in philosophy, psychology, and sociology. They are often talked about together when people talk about what it means to be human and how to define oneself. Freedom usually means being able to make your own decisions without outside pressure. Authenticity, on the other hand, means being true to yourself and speaking out about your real beliefs, wants, and feelings. They affect how people live their lives and connect with others as a whole. Understanding these ideas can help you grow as a person, build meaningful connections, and gain a better understanding of how society works. How to define freedom and honesty. Freedom means having the power or right to do, say, or think what you want without being stopped or limited. External freedom means that there are no limits from the outside, and internal freedom means that the mind is free. Authenticity means living in line with your real self, values, and beliefs, instead of what other people expect of you. Knowing yourself, accepting yourself, and having the guts to be real are all parts of it. Freedom and authenticity, how they fit together. For someone to be authentic, they need to be able to explore and share their true self without worrying about being judged or stifled. Being real makes freedom better. Being honest with yourself makes the choices and actions you make more important and satisfying, which gives you a deeper sense of freedom. Obstacles to being free and honest. External barriers, laws, social norms, and cultural expectations can make it hard for people to be themselves and present themselves honestly. Internal barriers. People can't live their true selves even when there aren't any outside restrictions because of fear, self-doubt, and internalized social pressures. Why freedom and honesty are important for personal growth. Personal growth, being open to freedom and being yourself, helps you learn more about yourself and grow as a person. It helps people figure out what they really want and follow their hobbies. Mental health. Being true to yourself and feeling free can lower stress and anxiety, which is good for your mental health and general health. Trying to make society more free and honest, promoting diversity, appreciating different points of view and ways of being, can make a space more welcoming where people feel free to be themselves. Supporting individual rights. For a society to be healthy, it is important that laws and social structures support people's freedoms and allow them to express themselves honestly. People can live happier lives and help create a society that values personal growth and honest self-expression by learning more about the ideas of freedom and authenticity. Number 3. Rational and objective decisions. Kindness isn't just a state of mind, it's also a powerful tool that helps us make smart, unbiased choices. Do not underestimate how important it is to not care about your feelings and biases. When we let them take over, we are much less able to think clearly and logically about situations. Feelings and biases often have negative effects on the way we make decisions. People who are angry, scared, or jealous will find it hard to see things clearly and rationally. For example, a manager might fire an employee because they don't like them, even if the employee was competent and made important contributions to the company. In this case, the manager's emotions and biases led to an irrational decision that hurt not only the employee, but also the organization as a whole. The benefits of approaching situations with an indifferent mindset are clear. When we can keep our minds calm and not let negative emotions get in the way, we can look at things more thoroughly and fairly. For example, if one party can stay indifferent during a business negotiation, they will be less affected by the other party's pressure tactics, and they will be able to make decisions that are best for themselves. Indifference helps us not let our emotions get in the way, but instead focus on important and long-term factors. One of the main ideas behind Stoic thought is that indiffer is important for making smart choices. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius said that if we want to live a good life, we need to learn to control our feelings and not let them decide what we do. They said that we can do this by not letting negative thoughts affect us. Decisions don't have to be based on short-term feelings. They can be based on logic and careful thought. If a man is afraid of losing his job during an uncertain economy, he could easily get caught up in a downward spiral of worry. However, from the point of view of the Stoic philosophy, it is important to understand that worrying about things that are out of one's control is pointless. Instead, he should focus on what he can do right now. By controlling his thoughts and actions, he can make a positive change. Stoic philosophy tells us that how we react to things determines what happens. a factor. Worrying doesn't fix problems, but being calm and clear can help him see the chances to get better that are hidden in his problems. By focusing on good and meaningful actions, he not only makes things better in his current situation, but he also builds confidence and stability in his soul. This is the key to getting through tough times and finding the right way to move forward in life. The paradoxical idea of indifference is important in Stoic philosophy. Being indifferent doesn't mean you don't care or feel anything. It means your mind isn't affected by negative feelings. Indifference helps us see things more clearly, which lets us make more fair and logical decisions. In fact, because we aren't affected by negative emotions, indifference lets us show care and love more honestly and effectively. By keeping an indifferent attitude, we not only protect ourselves from bad influences, but we also build a good and happy life in line with the spirit of Stoic philosophy. Try being indifferent in your life and see how it changes things for the better. If you liked this video, please say what you think by leaving a comment. Making choices is an important part of life that affects both personal and work areas. Making decisions that are rational and objective means using a structured, logical method that keeps emotions and biases to a minimum and aims for the best result based on the information that is available. This method is important for getting things done quickly and correctly, making it easy to see the way forward in many situations. Learn how to make choices that are logical and fair, and you'll be able to solve problems better, be more productive, and do better overall. Explain the issue clearly. Why it's important. Clearly defining the problem is the first step in making good decisions. How to get what you want. Find the main problem, its scope, and what it means. Tell the difference between symptoms and the reasons of them. So, instead of choosing improving sales, say increase sales by 10% in the North region within 6 months. Get the information you need. Important. Choices that are well informed are more likely to work. How to get what you want. Get information from reliable sources. Think about the quality and usefulness of the data, and look at things from different points of view. For example, look into market trends, customer wants, and competitor strategies before putting out a new product. Come up with alternatives. It's important to look at all of your choices so that you can pick the best one. How to get what you want. Come up with a lot of different answers, including creative and unusual ones, and write down the pros and cons of each one. When picking a software option, look at the features, costs, and user reviews of different platforms. Look at the other options. Importance. A thorough evaluation helps you choose the best choice. How to get what you want. Use things like cost, time, risks, and rewards, along with other factors, to evaluate each option. Use tools to help you make decisions, such as cost-benefit analysis or SWOT analysis. To choose a marketing plan, you should look at your budget, the number of people you want to reach, and your potential return on investment, ROI. Make the choice and follow through with it. Action is necessary for decisions to have an effect in the real world. How to get what you want. Based on the evaluation, pick the best option and make a plan for how to execute it. Then, assign tasks and set due dates. Keep an eye on the process and be ready to make changes if needed. If you decide to use a new software system, you should make a rollout plan, train your workers, and keep an eye on their work to make sure the system is doing what it's supposed to do. Making decisions that are based on logic and facts is essential for fixing problems and getting what you want. People and businesses can make smart choices that lead to success by clearly defining the problem, gathering relevant information, coming up with and evaluating possible solutions, and then putting the chosen solution into action. This organized method keeps feelings and biases to a minimum, making sure that choices are based on facts and logic. Number 4, emotional resilience. To stay calm and steady in the face of all difficulties, emotional resilience is a useful skill that works like an anchor. Think of yourself as a boat floating on a rough sea, and stoicism as the guiding lighthouse that keeps us on track when life storms happen. Big toe. One of the famous Stoic philosophers said that people are not disturbed by things but by how they see them. This advice is still very useful for dealing with our fears and problems today. For example, a man who is afraid of losing his job in an uncertain economy should not worry about things he can't change, but instead should focus on what he can do right now. Epictetus's philosophy says that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we respond to them. This man can start by keeping and improving his professional skills and looking for chances to learn and grow. He can also build a professional network by making connections that will help him in the future. Instead of worrying, he should stay calm and figure out how to solve his problems. Stoic philosophy says to accept reality with a calm mind, because worrying doesn't solve problems. It just drains our energy. On the other hand, clarity and calmness help us see problems clearly, which helps us find the right way to move forward. How you feel about a situation is the key to getting through tough times and finding inner peace. Stoic thought says that how we feel about hard situations can affect how we get through them. Indifference is a calm and sensible attitude toward things we can't change. It helps us keep a steady mind that isn't affected by outside events in our lives. There are many things we can't change, from bad weather to other people's behavior. Stoic philosophy tells us to accept these things and not let them affect our inner peace. We can't change other people's negative words, but we can change how we react to them. By staying indifferent, we don't let negativity into our minds and keep us from our goals. In Stoic thought, it is clear that indifference is a good thing. It helps us keep our attention on what's important and not let outside things distract us. Imagine someone who is locked up. It might seem heavy, but it can help us. Think about the situation we're in more clearly. The person's behavior while in jail is more important than the reason he or she is there. Instead of giving up, the person can use their time in prison to learn, reflect, and grow. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison but stayed strong and eventually became a symbol of freedom and justice. Even though he was in bad conditions, he never let them change his mind. Instead, he used the time to learn, train himself, and keep his belief in fairness. Because of his patience, strength, and unwavering spirit, he became an inspiration to millions of people around the world. He fought for his own rights and for the rights of an entire nation, inspiring positive change and courage. Because he fought for freedom and justice, he was able to get out of jail and free the souls of millions of people who were being oppressed and wronged. This clearly shows that Stoicism isn't just a theory, it's a way of life. When dealing with problems in relationships, dishonesty can cause a lot of pain and harm. However, if we don't let it affect our feelings or emotions, we can face it calmly and wisely. Instead of reacting emotionally and negatively, we can look at the situation objectively and make decisions based on reason. This doesn't mean that we ignore or disregard dishonesty. It just means that we keep our inner peace and don't let it upset our mental stability. It's important to note that in Stoic philosophy, indifference doesn't mean ignoring or not caring about anything. Instead, it means staying calm and clear in the face of things we can't change. It helps us focus on what really matters and not let small or unimportant things get in the way. This way, we can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Emotional resilience isn't just a skill, it's an art. Stoic philosophy's ideas about indifference and inner control can help us develop this skill and get through all of life's challenges. Let indifference become a shield, protecting us from bad things and helping us find inner peace and stability in all situations. The skill of a person to deal with stressful situations or crises is called emotional resilience. It's more than just getting back on your feet after a setback. It means being able to thrive in the face of problems. People who are emotionally resilient keep a good attitude, know how to handle their feelings, and get through hard times without giving up or giving in to too much stress. This trait isn't natural. It can be grown through different methods and exercises. How to understand emotional strength. Dealing with worry and problems in a healthy way is part of being emotionally resilient. It's about keeping your mental health in good shape despite the challenges you face in life. This helps people bounce back from losses more quickly and keep working toward their goals and keeping relationships. Parts of being emotionally strong. Self-awareness, controlling your emotions, positivity and social support are some of the things that can make you emotionally resilient. Recognizing and understanding your feelings, keeping a positive attitude, and having relationships that support you are all important parts of becoming resilient. Building up emotional strength. Mindfulness practices, cognitive behavioral techniques, and stress management tactics can all help you become more emotionally resilient. To become more resilient, you need to take care of yourself, do thoughtful activities, and learn to see problems as chances to grow. Advantages of being emotionally strong. People who are emotionally strong often have better mental health, better relationships, and a general sense of well-being. They can handle stress, deal with change, and get over life's problems better, which leads to a more peaceful and satisfying life. How to use emotional resilience. Setting realistic goals, keeping a positive attitude, and learning how to solve problems are all practical uses of emotional strength. It also means asking for help when you need it and having a strong support network to help you handle the ups and downs of life well. People can better deal with stress, improve their mental health, and live more satisfying lives if they understand and work on their emotional resilience. Number 5. Affordable contentment. The idea of affordable contentment is a nice change from the usual stories of success and happiness that focus on material wealth and shopping. Finding happiness, contentment, and pleasure through easy, cheap, or even free activities and habits is what affordable contentment is all about. It says that events are more important than things, relationships are more important than money, and mindfulness is more important than materialism. Affordable contentment helps people live a fuller, more meaningful life without constantly seeking material goods by focusing on what really counts. Experiences are more important than things. Happiness that comes from having experiences tends to last longer than the short-lived happiness that comes from getting things. Going on trips, concerts, or just taking a walk in the woods are all activities that leave long memories that can be shared with others. Taking action. Tip: spend your money on things that will make memories instead of things that you can hold in your hands. Plan regular fun things to do or trips you enjoy. Be thankful every day. Practicing gratitude means noticing and being thankful for the good things in your life. This habit can make you feel much better and more satisfied with your life in general. Taking action. Tip: write in a gratitude notebook every day. Every day, write down at least 3 things you're thankful for, no matter how small they seem. Make your life easier. Getting rid of mental and physical mess is part of simplifying your life so you can focus on what's important. It means getting rid of clutter in your house, organizing your time, and reducing the number of things that distract you. Taking action. Tip: clean up one small part of your life or home to begin. Get rid of or donate things you don't need and rearrange your space to show a simpler way of life. Build relationships. Strong, lasting relationships are an important part of being happy. Putting time into making and keeping relationships can bring you joy, mental support, and a sense of belonging. Taking action. Hint: set aside regular times to talk to friends and family. This could happen over the phone, live chat, or in person. Do things that help people get to know each other and talk to each other. Mindfulness is a practice to develop. Being mindful means being in the present moment and giving your full attention to what you're doing. This exercise can help you feel less stressed, concentrate better, and enjoy the little things in life more. Taking action. Tip: make practicing awareness a part of your daily life. You can do this by meditating, eating slowly, or just pausing to take deep breaths and pay attention to what you're doing. This exercise can help you feel less stressed, concentrate better, and enjoy the little things in life more. Taking action. Tip: make practicing awareness a part of your daily life. You can do this by meditating, eating slowly, or just pausing to take deep breaths and pay attention to the present moment. Being happy doesn't have to cost a lot, as we can see from affordable satisfaction. We can find lasting happiness and fulfillment by putting events over things, being thankful, keeping things simple, building relationships, and practicing mindfulness. This way of doing things helps us change our attention from looking for what we don't have to appreciating what we do have. In the end, affordable contentment means making a useful and satisfying life within our means. People often look for happiness and satisfaction in things like money and fame, but the Stoic philosophy says that indifference, not caring about bad feelings or things we can't change, can bring us more lasting happiness and satisfaction. Big Toe Epicus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said that happiness is not based on what we have, but on how we see and value what we have. He thought that people who depend on material things to find happiness will always be stuck in a cycle of desire and never feel satisfied. Real happiness only comes from learning to enjoy and be thankful for the little things in life. One of the main ideas behind Stoicism is lowering one's wants. Stoic philosophers thought that wanting things was the main cause of pain and unhappiness. They told us to focus on what was really important and let go of small wants. Marcus Aurelius, who was both a ruler and a Stoic philosopher, said that to be happy, all you need is to change the way you think. This advice stresses how important it is to lower your wants in order to be happy with your life. The story of Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic thinkers from ancient Rome, shows this point of view clearly. Seneca, who was an advisor to Emperor Nero, lived a life of wealth and power, but knew that material things did not make people truly happy. He wrote a lot about how important it was to live a simple life and not let money and fame control you. Seneca chose one day to push himself by living in poverty. He gave up his fancy mansion and moved into a small house where he ate simple food and wore normal clothes. Seneca's goal was to see if he could be happy and satisfied without having to have expensive things. Seneca learned from this experience that real happiness doesn't come from things outside of oneself, but from the soul and inner thoughts. He learned that living a simple life not only makes you feel less anxious and unsafe, but it also makes you feel very peaceful and happy. Seneca's story shows that real happiness doesn't come from having more things, but from being happy with what you have and living a simple, honest life. From the point of view of Stoic philosophy, indifference helps us focus on the most long-lasting and sensible choices. When we're not swayed by negative emotions and silly wants, we can make smarter choices that lead to long-term happiness. Choosing a simple life, cutting down on wants, and focusing on core values can help us stay mentally stable and happy. According to Stoic philosophy, the key to long-term happiness and satisfaction is to reduce our wants, be content with what we have, and focus on our core values. This way, we can live a full and happy life without counting on material things. Apathy is not indifference. Indifference is control and freedom from bad outside forces. This keeps us safe from bad people and helps us find real happiness in a simple, honest life. When we learn to be indifferent in our daily lives, it keeps us safe from harmful people and leads to freedom, honesty, and inner peace. Indifference is not just not caring, it's a deep understanding that we can't change what happens around us, but we can change how we respond to it. Think about how indifference can change the way you deal with problems and challenges in life. Have you ever been in a situation where indifference helped you stay calm and make better decisions? Are you ready to use the ideas of Stoicism to make your daily life better? If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, and leave a comment about your experiences with indifference. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos coming up about Stoicism and how it can help you live a more worthwhile and happy life. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.